Hey, True Believers, England here, continuing Jack Kirby month. Yep, his birthday's August 29th, so we figure what the hell, let's do some videos, one at least every week, to show off, you know, our appreciation for the king. In this case, we're counting down the top 10 female characters created by Jack Kirby. So, kick back, relax, let's get this party started. Number 10. At number 10, we're going to have to begin this countdown with Medusa. And at first, she seems like a silly character. She's got stretchy hair. But no, it's really strong too, and it's like having 1,000 arms and everything. She started off as a villain, a member of the Frightful Four, fighting the Fantastic Four. Of course, later we found out not only is she an Inhuman, but she's the Queen of the Inhumans, Queen of the Moon, and a very useful character in her own right. At some point in time, they really did find out what they could do with Medusa, what they could do to make her look even more powerful, and she became even a more formidable foe as time goes on, much like they did with Sue Storm in the Fantastic Four. I like the Inhumans, I like Medusa's character, and that's why I have to include her on this list. So Medusa begins the countdown at number 10. Number 9, Hela from Thor. Okay, so in the original mythology, she's a bit of a cipher. Hela just kind of sits over. She lords over the kingdom of hell, but she doesn't really do anything. However, in the hands of Lee and Kirby, she became a fully fleshed character, and you gotta give a lot of credit to Kirby's design here. The headdress alone, kapow! I am so glad, by the way, that they included it in the movie. She's got a great look to her. She challenges both Thor and Odin many, many times. And frankly, I don't understand, how is it that Odin can defeat somebody that eventually is going to take him too when he dies? First appearing in Journey into Mystery 102, she was appointed by Odin to rule over the dead of Hell and Niflheim, but it was her wanting to expand her power to Valhalla that put her at odds with Thor and sometimes even Odin himself. And once when Thor had a building dropped on him, almost got him to accept his role and his place in Valhalla. Number 8. Peggy Carter, and yes, I know this isn't a Jack Kirby picture of her, okay? I had a problem finding something. Anyway, no, here's the thing. At the time of the Comics Code Authority, it kind of destroyed the strong woman archetype. And Peggy Carter is one of those that brought it back. Even when, at a time when Lois Lane, who used to have been a strong character, was just a simp for Superman, they decided they were going to give a love interest to Captain America, and they came up with Peggy Carter. And she was a spy. She was a gun-toting, Nazi-fighting spy that at the end of their first meeting between her and Captain America decided she couldn't go with him because she had to continue the good fight. And that, my friends, is what helped bring back the strong female stereotype, or archetype, I should say. Either way, I gotta give props to that. Even though the design is simple, the character was strong, the character was something, and she deserves to be on this list. Number 7. Alicia Masters is one of the most interesting characters on this list, just based on the fact that she's a side character. Now, granted, these days, I think the supporting character is lost. I don't think they're really paying much attention to it. Alicia Masters here made her first appearance in Fantastic Four number 8. And we discover that she's the daughter of the Puppet Master, the guy who can make, you know, he makes little puppets and he can control people or superheroes with it. She ended up being able to look past Ben Grimm's rocky exterior to fall in love with him and ends up marrying him. Not, though, before there was a little bit with her and her father and Puppet Master that made her fall in love with Johnny Storm and kind of cause a rift between the two when they were about to get married. No, she's an interesting and strong character. I enjoy her, and once again, I'm going to say it again, she definitely deserves to be on the list. Number 6. Granny Goodness, and this is one of Jack Kirby's creations. There's no Stan Lee here. And he created one of the most vile, disgusting, heartless characters ever put to paper. And Jack Kirby not only created Darkseid, but Granny Goodness works for him. First appearing in Mr. Miracle number 2, she's Darkseid's trainer. She trained Scott Free. She trained Big Barda. She trained the female Furies, and she is a ball buster. She's a warrior in her own right, and she takes no crap unless you go by the Cecil Castellucci Female Furies miniseries, which I do not. I'm sorry, I like everything beforehand. I like the badass granny goodness. I even like the badass granny goodness that's voiced by Ed Asner, of all people. Yes, in the cartoon, she's voiced by a man, but damn, doesn't it kind of fit? Number 5. The Lady Siff of Asgard Warrior Maiden first appeared also in Journey into Mystery number 2, along with Hela, who was also on this list. And I've got to say, I love the dynamic poses that Jack Kirby could put her in. She looks amazing. Of course, Jack Kirby loves headdresses too, by the way. Anyway, in the regular mythology, she was Thor's wife. She was a love interest, which they did eventually, but that was far down the line. When Siff was first created, she was the warrior maiden. They kind of rewrote the mythology to fit the comics, and I think they did so perfectly. And once again, when you're dealing with a strong archetype like Siff, Jack Kirby, I gotta say, it's those poses, it's the drawings are awesome. Number 4. Now we gotta go to DC's big warrior woman, Big Barda. She's such a great complex character. She started off as an assassin, actually. Trained by Granny Goodness to be one of the, not just one of, but the head of the Female Furies. And she ended up saying, hey, you know, I found a better life. When she met up with Scott Free, he showed her kindness. They actually formed a bond, and she was willing to go against Darkseid and Granny Goodness to keep their love alive. And while in the beginning, during the Mr. Miracle run and everything, she was very much tied to Mr. Miracle, throughout the years, she's actually become a really interesting character by herself, even becoming a part of the Justice League, as a matter of fact. I like the fact that they never toned down her size or shape. I mean, this is one big muscular woman. They draw her like that. They treat her like that. Full-on confident and hella strong. Number 3. The Wasp. So here's a character that absolutely got out of the shadow of the book she originally was in. It was always Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Even the movie is Ant-Man and the Wasp. And she just grew into her own character, especially after the fake slap, or the accidental slap, I should say. For the longest time, when you had Ant-Man, you had the Wasp. When you had the Wasp, you Ant-Man. But Janet Van Dyne was a leader of Avengers. She was a tactical thinker. She's a strong character on her own, and yes, she had many silly costumes. I like this character. I always have. She was the leader of the Avengers when I really started getting into them. But for me, in all honesty, Captain America will always be the true leader of the Avengers. But aside from that, I got to give it to the Wasp. I was actually surprised to find myself being such a fan, especially these days. And I do appreciate her character now, probably more than I did when I was younger. Number 2. Scarlet Witch is a strange character because she continues to be defined and redefined for generations. And that means whatever generation of comic book you're reading, you're probably reading a different version than the one that came before. With mine, I remember she was able to affect probability fields to have things happen. And then at one point in time, she says, no more mutants, and they disappear. So wait, what? Where'd that power come from? Where'd that magic come from? And I'm sure they explain stuff away or something, but she is definitely one of the most enigmatic characters that were ever created. One of the most enigmatic things is, why the wimple? Seriously, it's a ridiculous thing on her face, but it fits, right? Obviously, she's evolved over the years. I've heard she's the most sexualized character, but I don't buy into that. However, I do know that she's one of, if not the strongest character in the Avengers, and one of the more powerful characters, non-cosmic, of the MCU. And the number 1 greatest Jack Kirby female creation is Sue Storm, the Invisible Girl. And wow, did she have a story arc. Granted, she grew up. She's the Invisible Woman. She got married. She had kids. But one of the things I really like about her, she was always kind of, okay, she turned invisible. But then with her shield powers that they gave her later, she ended up becoming the most feared member of the Fantastic Four, to the point where in this Fantastic Four versus X-Men miniseries that they just got done with, the X-Men weren't afraid of Ben Grimm or Mr. Fantastic or Human Torch. They were afraid of Sue Storm. They knew they knew where the power lay. Granted, she's also a strong character, an interesting character. You don't have to make her a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. to make her interesting. I don't even know if it helps. All I know is that I loved reading the Fantastic Four, and Sue Storm is one of the 4 reasons why. So there you go, gang. That's the countdown. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell if you haven't done it. Click on one of the videos that are popping up around here. And if you do like the channel, please go on over to Patreon or Ko-Fi. Links in the description below. Drop $1 in the till. Help us keep making videos for you. Help us keep the lights on. Thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.